Good evening and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Anne-Marie, it looks like you've been here for hours, doesn't it? Before we start, good evening to everybody in the chat as well. Not a bad weekend results. Yeah, Arsenal have won. However, I can see this. Can you?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know that big bad dog. That big bad dog. It's on its way. It's on its way. And it's brilliant tonight because we can't even hear Anne-Marie.
No.
Can't hear you. Amateurs, chummy. She arrives late and we can't even hear her.
That's
Amateurs.
Another fine this week.
Yeah, another fine. That's coming out of your wages. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Yeah, so good evening to everybody in the chat. Yeah, it's not been a bad old weekend. To be honest, Paddy, although we was brilliant, yeah, back to our best. Obviously, we'll get into it. I was a little bit deflated last night when Arsenal won, you know. I was expecting Brighton just rolled over. You watch when we play Brighton, they'll be prime Brazil, won't they?
So, isn't that the story with everything? In fairness, how these other teams? I know the answer to that question. Every team that plays against us, even the cards that are Arsenal, set up a low block. Like we had what was it, 71% possession against Arsenal?
Yep.
Every team does that to us. So we don't get the room or the space to maneuver the way Arsenal does or the way Liverpool does, because they know if they open up against us, we'll tear them to pieces. So it just shows how, even though I was looking at the table earlier on,
I'm with Keith. Caddy, I'm with Keith here, you know. And I've said this for all season. I'm more worried about Liverpool than Arsenal.
Arsenal have big run of games coming. Arsenal have a desperate run of games coming.
Yeah, and the way the Rags was today, I was expecting them to roll over for Liverpool.
They've still got to play Arsenal.
Jesus, just
hey!
Lord have mercy. Good evening, Anne-Marie.
Good evening, all.
She found her voice.
Just a technical difficulty, that's all.
I thought you were going to say technical dickhead then.
No, that's you.
Hey, I never forget to press record.
Oh, we're off.
I never forget to press live when we start a show, love.
Oh, that's fighting talk.
But do you go with that, you two? More worried about Liverpool than Arsenal?
I don't think coming in the squeaky bum time, I'm worried about either of them, to be honest with you.
Me either.
Is that it?
I'll tell you why, because I watched the Netflix documentary and I seen the mindset inside in that changing room.
I've not seen it.
Andy, you've got to watch it. It's brilliant.
I'm refusing to watch it. Let us know in the chat if you've seen the documentary yet. I don't want to watch it because I don't know. I think it'd be too upsetting with Gundo going, especially. And I know Anne-Marie was very disappointed, you know, with Mahrez going as well on it, but
and they never once mentioned Cancelo.
And they wouldn't have done. Did you hear the BBC having a pop the documentary in the week as well by saying they didn't mention the charges? Well,
yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Well, that's what I've not seen it, but that's what the BBC said. But they're not going to go into depth with the charges anyway because it's a legal thing at the moment. Anyway, it just shows you instead of sort of like praising, you know, City on a from what by all accounts it's a great documentary. You know, they pick at stuff like that. It's just.
I know, but you see what they're neglecting to mention is they do mention the charges, and they actually show Pep doing the team talk the next game after. So these people haven't actually watched it. They've been selective in what they've viewed. It's as simple as that.
No, I agree. I can't really comment on the documentary, as I say, because I just can't bring myself to watch it. I really can't.
You have to watch it, man.
I don't know.
Right. That's a piece of history. You have to watch that.
Charlie says the Premier League title race is truly on. Come on, Blues, we can do this.
Of course we can, Charlie. It's never been in doubt, mate.
With a load of Sharks, but I'd like to go for a bit more of a soft approach because I think that is exactly what we're going to do. In fact, that looks a bit like us three. In fact, just let me move around. Hang on. Is that better?
I'm glad you're putting yourself as the ugly one.
I know. Well, I do. I just think it's that time now. But what's pleased me more than anything is we're starting to play some good football and score some goals, aren't we?
Can I tell you something?
Go on.
What did you notice about Kevin De Bruyne against Palace?
He's not had an haircut.
Personality-wise on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so determined and such a leader.
Do you know why? And we don't use the word on this podcast, but I'm going to use it now. Pep dropped him against Aston Villa.
No.
He was like an antichrist against Palace, and Pep's psychology worked 100%. He was like a man possessed against Palace.
That first goal was just unreal, wasn't it?
Jesus Christ. Unreal.
Listen, I don't go with drops. It's rotated, mate.
No, I'm telling you, Pep, and Pep has said this before about Kevin De Bruyne, he likes to get him angry. He's not angry enough. And I'm telling you now, he acts like Villa were no joke to be dropping your best player.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. And I'll tell you, it worked. Because see, from the kickoff against Palace, De Bruyne was like a man on fire.
I tell you who I was absolutely made up for yesterday, Mr. JG.
Oh, in that second half, he was brilliant.
And have you seen his quotes as well, you know, since yesterday's game about how he struggled since last season and stuff like that. And Pep's really stuck by him and, you know, got his arm around his shoulder and, you know, nurtured him through. Listen, I just love Jack Grealish. I really, really do. I just think he's a proper lad. He likes to enjoy himself. He's a fantastic footballer.
He's actually a decent human being as well.
Yeah, he is. And I just don't get all the hate what people get with him, you know, the opposition fans. And I know it won't bother him in the slightest, but I just love the bones off him. I really do. Spurs have just gone 2-1 up.
He says in that interview that he gave that it doesn't bother him, but it bothers his family. He doesn't understand that he travelled the country playing for Aston Villa and nobody paid any attention to him. But the minute he came to Man City, he's booed at every ground he goes. Even in the lower league clubs, in the cup games, he's booed.
What, like United?
Yeah, like United, yeah. But look, they're just a bunch of morons, you know.
I know. But I just was so pleased. But I tell you what, who I thought made a difference for us yesterday, Anne-Marie, was Akanji. Listen, that guy, he just oozes class, doesn't he? You know, you can put him on the right. We can now put him on the left, play him in midfield, play him as a centre-back and inverted. You can have him selling pies. He does everything so efficiently. Before we get into that, Andrew, Stan is still not doing great. Hopefully he'll be watching the PUBcast tonight. We always do send our love to him as well. Akanji, he just I thought that Pep was going to take Stones off because I didn't think Stones was functioning right in the first half. It just was. I just thought when Akanji would come on and make a difference, and it was sort of like totally left field, literally, because Gvardiol went off, like who's supposedly got a bit of a niggle. I'm not too sure about that. I just thought Gvardiol struggled a little bit yesterday. But Akanji is just oozes class, doesn't it?
It does, and it makes you, these pundits that are on, you have to question their intelligence a little bit. Joe Cole at half-time saying we needed a left-sided player. Now, Guardiola is a left-footed player, but we bring on a right-footed player to play left-back in Akanji.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any difference what foot you've got. It's what you're able to do, what you're capable of doing. And he came on and made a big difference yesterday. And the last two games, if you look at the Villa game, Foden again with a hat-trick. It's like we're finally seeing the best of Foden playing in the middle, not playing out on the wing.
And Pep's alluded to it. He wants to get them both in the team. Did you hear KDB's post-match regarding that when he was asked that?
No, I didn't.
With a turd in hand, he turned around to him and said, that Pep wants to get it. Pep's told Ferdinand that, that he wants to get both Foden and KDB. Could that work? And De Bruyne sort of like looked at Ferdinand and he was like, yeah, people were saying that with me and David Silva, but I just pushed on a little bit more forward and stuff like that, and he found me. And it's true. Listen, I think people can make too much of an issue about such and such a body, they can't play. It used to be like for England, didn't it? Like Lampard and Gerrard, they can't play together. No, if you've got a good manager and not a clueless one, any player can play with anyone and anywhere on that pitch, and that just proves it. With Akanji, with young Rico as well yesterday, who I thought had a brilliant game, and it's just starting to click with goals as well.
I don't think it's the manager. Well, I'm not doing Pep a disservice, but I think it's the players, Andy. We have highly, highly intelligent players. Yes, you can bring on, say, Akanji and put him at left back, and he excels at it, which he did. But that's just testament to the man's intelligence. That his football intelligence. Like every one of them players, I think, in that team can play multiple positions, and that's why then when you have Ratboy and Spitty, we have a big squad, we have big this. We don't. What we do have is players, and we're sick. We're blue in the face from saying it on here. We have players that can play 2, 3, 4 different positions. Like Rico Lewis turned around and says he can throw as a right back, but he says his favourite position is playing in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob, and that young Hamilton lad who'll be in the first team next season is going to save us in excess of £150 million in the transfer market.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And it just shows you 3-1 spuds now. So, I mean, Spurs was touted to be right up there, weren't they, at the start of the season?
Einsball needs a season there, I think.
Yeah. I just think it's coming together now, Anne-Marie. It's better late than never, as they say. But Liverpool didn't look anything special today. Even Brighton just was shambolic yesterday. I'm not just saying that. Whether it's fair play to Arsenal. They did what they needed to do. They got the job done. However, you only have to look at them. We're one point behind now, and we've all got some. I'd say Spurs is probably going to be our toughest match. But we know we can go there now. We know that Hoodoo's gone.
That's very true. And I think we're more than capable. And it does come down to, no matter what anyone says, it comes down to experience. We've been in this position before where we can wipe the floor with these play with these teams now and get what we need. And I think if you look at like Liverpool today, I would say they're the ones most likely to bottle it. Because they're so desperate to do it for Klopp, which I understand. We might not like him, but that's the way it goes. But I think the wheels are going to come off for Liverpool. And I think Arsenal have got a couple of tough games coming up, 2 or 3 tough games.
Regarding Liverpool, Anne-Marie, I'm hoping you're right, because let's not forget they're doing Thursday, Sundays as well. So they're going to be playing catch up, each week. And I'd rather be leading than chasing.
Well, that's it. So I think, it is looking promising for us. I think we do have some issues, though, because even yesterday, I think at times we looked very shaky in defence. And we can't afford that against Real Madrid on Tuesday. And I don't know how we strengthen that at this point. I think if we've got Walker in there, maybe that'll make a difference.
That's it. Pep reckons our physios have said Walker's not going to make it, but then Pep said something on the lines, but Kyle's Kyle. So I don't know if it's a little indication that he will be. Because, listen, we weren't expecting to see John Stones back yet, was we? After Mr. Waistcoat played in two.
I know, but then, we're looking at Kyle Walker now having an injury. And for me, if we go back to that England game when he got the injury, he got injured, went down, came off, and then went back on for another 10 minutes or so. Well, that to me is stupidity on Walker's part. He knew he was injured. Why risk making it worse by going back on the pitch? Do you know what I mean? Because
I get it.
Because it's not England it's impacting, it's us.
Not necessarily, Anne-Marie, around say injuries or whatever. I've often injured myself inside in the gym where I thought I could carry on, and
groin strain, Patrick.
Yeah, but it depends. Sitting here in the cold light of day, you can turn around and say, yeah, he was silly for going back on. But when you're in the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle, and the adrenaline is running, you don't necessarily feel pain the way you should feel pain. Pain is there to stop you from moving. That's why you should never take painkillers, because you're only overriding what your body's trying to tell you not to do. So when you take painkillers and keep moving, you're hurting yourself more.
Yeah.
So I get Walker going back on and trying to say run it off, or maybe it'll loosen up, and it hasn't worked out. Thousands of footballers do that, but it's a big for players. I think, as this is before in this podcast, it's a big privilege to make it number one as a football club, and to represent your country is mind blowing.
And that's it, from a fan's perspective. Let's not make any bones about it. I'll be truthful when I say years ago, before we started getting good, I used to love internationals. Used to watch. I used to be a big England fan, and it used to piss me off with Liverpool fans, United fans, and that ilk, where they was like, I don't care about international football. I just want our players back fit, and I don't even want our players to go. And I'm like, that is just so selfish. But I get that now. Now we're seeing the how many international players we've got in our squad. I get it, because that it can make or break you winning the league. In fact, can't if they get injuries, like if we'd have lost Stones long term, luckily we got a Kanji back early as well. But it can make or break season. I just want what Pardo was saying here. Did anybody see what Joe Cole yesterday? I'm not about him slurring his words and making silly comments. Joe Cole actually was asked about De Bruyne, and he actually said, "Is the best he's ever been." And he went like, I forget who it was now. It might have been a Camel Gob. Basically, what above Stevie G and Scholesy and Lampard. And he goes, yeah, he's the best he's ever been. And I not that Joe Cole may or may not have been drunk, but I take what Joe Cole said seriously, because Joe Cole's played with those three players, two of them at club level and Scholes at international level. So I sit up and take notice with what Joe Cole says there, and it just shows you that we know Kevin De Bruyne is good, but for somebody to say is above Gerrard and Lampard, I'm like, and Scholes, I'm like, yeah.
See them types of, like, I think the biggest kind of, I don't know how you would describe it, the mismatch of people's opinions is that Ballon d'Or. How Haaland didn't win that Ballon d'Or last year and they give it to Messi is like,
Messi's swan song, wasn't
it? You could get 100 people in the room and they'll turn around and say Frank Lampard was the best, or Stevie G was the best, or whatever. Like, all you can do is judge it for yourself and what you see. Between all the players mentioned, and you have to take the blue tinted glasses off, Lampard, Stevie G, Scholes, Kevin De Bruyne, there's not much between them, if anything.
I kind of agree, Paddy, but then I look at Kev and some of the passes he plays are unbelievable, you know. And so I think just on that alone, you'd have to give it to him as the best out of them all, because he can find space when nobody else can. I mean, that goal yesterday, and even his second goal, you know, it was such a good move that Rodri just laid it off to him and he could hit it.
See the Palace fans after his first goal, behind the goal, all clapping him. That was a nice touch from the Palace fans, because you know, they recognise not only a fantastic goal but a phenomenal footballer.
And that's the thing.
Sorry, Emery.
No, it's all right. Paddy, go on.
I was just going to say, like, how long did it take for you to register when he scored that first goal? What he actually did?
It's just genius, wasn't it?
It was just like, what's he doing? And the next thing, boom, it's the back of the net, and you're thinking,
and that's what. Just going a little bit forward there, Charlie says, which players would you start versus Madrid away, guys? For a start, I would keep Ortega in.
Oh, and can we just give a big up to Ortega for that move in the box?
That one.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. What a keeper.
Well,
that's what I am, Anne-Marie.
I'm the polar opposite. That could have went horribly wrong. It looks good, but it comes off.
Hang on a minute, it wasn't his fault, mate. That's the only thing he could really do, because
it was Rodri's fault.
Yeah, but they do that kind of take it behind them, backheel it behind themselves. They beat the player. And what are you doing drinking Coke?
Yes, Anne-Marie, what are you doing drinking Coke?
I'm thirsty.
She's thirsty.
No, you, Harry.
I'm not drinking Coke.
You are?
No, I've got Fanta.
Where's the 7-Up?
I've got some over there, mate. It's all sugar-free.
It's like candy fucking round sheep up minding you.
So, going back, I would start with Ortega, myself, personally. And feel free to chip in if you don't agree. A must start is Akanji, Stones, Diaz. Hopefully, Gvardiol will start. If not, I think he will start Rico. KDB, Bernardo, Rodri. I don't think Jack will start.
Is he start Matteo?
I think he will put an extra one in midfield, mate. I thought Matteo Kovacic did okay as well when he came on yesterday.
He's
Bernardo, and obviously the big man up front. That's 10, that, isn't it? And Alvarez, I think he will start Alvarez.
he might start Grealish instead of Alvarez for control.
But Jack's just on the back of what he's coming back from, injury and stuff like that. He's just played 90 minutes there, and he played some minutes. Is it?
He played 90 against. Well, he played 70 at least, didn't he, against Villa?
Yeah.
What about Phil?
Oh, why? Forgot young Phil. I forgot young Phil. I bet in the comments there they're going, what about Foden? What about Foden? So who'd you leave out then? Alvarez for Foden?
Alvarez.
You have to, Andy, in all fairness.
Yeah, you have to be fair. Because at the moment we've got, and I say this quite often, we're lucky because if you go through the squad, there's an argument for every one of them to start.
I'm not so sure there is for Alvarez at the minute.
Why?
Maybe not for goals, Amory, but he's link-up play and he's reading the game.
I know, but he's the most likely in that front three to lose the ball.
What about that lad there?
Yeah, Oscar Bob had a good game yesterday.
What about Keith? Don't you think he'll start? Yeah, I thought Oscar Bob had a very, very good game as well, Anne-Marie. I really do, because he seemed to link up really well with Rico on that right.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we've got a bit of balance again, aren't we, on the left and on the right?
But I'm just not sure Alvarez is at his best at the moment.
Paddy.
Well, yeah, the defence I would go, but midfield would be Rodri, Matteo, Foden, Bernardo. You make a good point against Grealish in terms of match fitness. It has to be Haaland up front, obviously. So, I was going to say Doku, but does he track back enough?
On a side note, it's always great to see Michael watch our streams live, innit? I love Michael's interaction. Top fella. Yeah, it's like Pardo says Diaz is nowhere near the same form as last year. Gives me the jitters. It does with me a little bit, mate. But at the moment, with Aki out and potentially Gvardiol out, with no option really.
Do you think he was at fault for that first goal yesterday?
Yes.
Did you actually freeze frame it and see how many players he was marking?
Mm-hmm. But also, here's another option.
Do we not blame Rodri for it? He lost the ball.
Well, you can't touch him.
You can't never blame Rodri.
Rodri had a stinker yesterday. Let's name it. Rodri had a stinker for the first time in a long time.
No.
Yes, he did.
We have also got an option of playing Rodri at centre-back.
No.
No, you're
getting back to the days of Fernandinho. No.
Be quiet. Be quiet, Savage.
Get back off the coke and back on the 7-Up and shoot you.
Sorry, we seem to have lost everybody tonight. You looks like you're just going to be stuck with me. I forgot she's got control of this. See what I mean? She's got control of my bank account and my streaming.
Good girl, Anne-Marie. Thank God we're here because he's talking on his posterior.
There you go, Paddy.
Hey!
Now he's picking his nose. You can see him. And he's pulling faces.
No,
bring him back.
Go on, no.
Don't have you throwing the strop. Saw all your childish behaviour.
I don't know what you mean. So yeah, we have got options as always, haven't we? In not just midfield, but across there. So to answer the question, who would you start them?
Right, we'll work from the front. So Haaland, definitely. Matteo, Rodri, De Bruyne, Foden. And then the back four, as you said, and I'd say it's probably too soon for Edison, so it's probably Ortega will get his chance, and he's more incapable, so I have no problems with that. So you're looking at one more then. Do you go with Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob, Duku, Jack Grealish?
Duku. He's not a cuckoo, mate. No, you don't play Doku away to Real Madrid, mate. You don't leave yourself that open. You need contained football to give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance for that second.
It'll be greedy, so.
Let us know in the chat what you think. Do you think Grealish is okay for basically his third game on the bounce after such a long layoff? I just think it might be a bit much too soon for him.
Don't know. He gets kicked to death in matches too. Like, some of the tackles that he gets, a lot of them are yellow card tackles, and they don't seem to like. They just seem to be like, oh, it's Jack Grealish. Let him have it.
Yeah, I'm just reading that comment. Do you see it? Have you been drinking? Oh, she's left DC's left a comment about me.
I don't think so.
No, how did you think the big man played yesterday?
It still leaves a little bit desired for my liking, but he got a goal.
Massive goal that for him.
It was for him, yeah.
Maybe if we passed him a bit often, he might score a lot more. Yep. Nobody passes to him. He makes run after run after run, and so I may as well be running because there's more chance of me getting the ball than him. Like, he must be sick to death. Even in the documentary, he says in the documentary, pass it to me, pass it to me. May as well be talking to you. You get more sense out of you. You're not saying something.
Don't talk to Anne-Marie like that, mate. Not live on it.
I'd never talk to Anne-Marie like that.
No, I just think away to Madrid, it's got to be a little bit different, and you can't go with a Doku because. By the way, against Villa, Doku had his best game in a City shirt by none. I thought he was fantastic. I really, really did. But to play him away to Real Madrid.
Okay,
it's one thing playing him at home against Madrid. It's a different thing playing him away against Madrid.
Do you think we should be afraid of Real Madrid? Are you afraid of them?
No.
Do you not think that team, I know on paper is different than on grass, but on paper we have a far better team.
That's providing every player turns up on the day.
Yeah, I'm just reading FIFA's against Madrid. Ortega, Gvardiol, if Diaz, Stones, Kanje, KDB, Rodri Silva, Grealish, Haaland, Doku. Not Doku. Hang on, you've not put Foden in there, mate. You made the same. Mind you, you might have done that on purpose. Foden's got to start. He was just sensational against Villa. He really, really was. And it does seem like a bit of like what you said earlier, Anne-Marie, just seemed like a bit of a competitive edge there now in a good way, between Kevin and Phil. Yeah,
there is. And I think, both of them bring something different. You only need to look. Phil's got 20 goals this season, and I think something like 11 assists or something, I think it is. Yeah. And we've needed that because obviously we've spent most of the season without Kev. And you can just see the way Foden's maturing as a player. I think there's so much more to come from him. We just don't realise how, and the same with Kevin, in honesty, we've probably had the best of Kevin, and we don't realise how lucky we are. The same with David Silva, Aguero. You know, these players in their prime were with us and have been unreal for us. And I think we've still got the best of that to come with Phil, which is, it from our point of view, is brilliant. From other teams' point of view, is scary.
And let's not think Haaland's only 23 as well. Thoughts to Joe Kinnear's family as well. I wasn't aware that he died. What Joe did with Wimbledon was just like unbelievable. The way he got that group of players, pretty much, some players you'd never heard of and stuff like that. The way he built that team, it was just built on shaking the big boys up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Great manager in his day. That's sad that. But
can I just go back to Kevin De Bruyne's interview, the post-match interview?
Yeah.
I think it was the real Mr. White Lines Ferdinand asked him some question about Foden, and he says, and he corrected him. He says, "Here, hold on a minute." He says, "I've been playing with Phil Foden for the last 7 years, and he's a senior pro in this team. He's one of the main men in this team. It's not like he's just Johnny come lately." He says, I've been playing with Phil Foden for 7 years. People don't realise that.
I think Kev used to babysit him. He's known him that long.
Yeah.
And it's right, because everyone still consider it young Phil Foden. Yes, he is still young. But I tell you what, the amount of trophies what he's won, and it's not just a case of like a Calvin Phillips collecting trophies, not playing. He's actually contributed to winning them trophies as well, with everything he's done. Michael says, Phil Foden getting a rest yesterday. Brilliant stuff. Phil is generational talent, going to get better and better if he listens to Pep. The best manager in the world. We are so lucky to have him. Yeah, we're lucky to have them both, Michael. We really are. And I should imagine when we sit back in a few years, once Pep and that's gone, and we digest what we've won, it's just like, I can't ever see it being repeated.
If there was ever a manager tailor-made for Foden, it was Pep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, yes, he gets a lot of comparisons with Paul Gascoigne, and he is like Gascoigne, the way he goes past people and the way he takes the ball in the half turn. He is definitely well up there in terms of capabilities and stuff like that. And as Anne-Marie said, he's only 23.
I've always said, Paddy, as an Englishman, Paul Gascoigne, if he'd have gone to United, he'd have been better and better under Ferguson, because of his strict discipline. Yeah. Not Gazza's. He really, really would, rather than going to the bright lights of London and stuff like that.
You know what, though? I'm not quite so sure of that with regards to Gascoigne being under Fergie. Mm-hmm. I think Ferguson would have struggled to control George Best in his day, and they're quite similar in what they would go off and do.
But it all depends what environment you're in, Anne-Marie.
Well, that's true, but I still think that you only need to look. He tried it with the likes of Lee Sharp and that, and what happened to Lee Sharp? He left and ended up not really doing anything with his career.
I just think Gazza was a different animal than anything we've seen in English football. He was just incredible player.
He needed love, didn't he? He needed the arm around the shoulder. He needed that constant reassurance. Like, there was no point in giving Gascoigne a kick up the arse, because he was never going to respond to that style of management. But I definitely think Fergie would have handled him a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I do. Charlie says there it's going to be incredibly harsh on Ortega, but I'd start with Edison in this big game. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Did you hear what?
Unless Edison's 100% fit, you don't start him in this game on Tuesday.
Did you hear what Gundogan tweeted about Ortega after the match? Like, he's a world-class keeper, and we are. Listen, there's no two ways about it. We will lose Ortega in the summer. And that's not down to...
We said that last summer.
No, but he's actually come out now in the media and pretty much said it's not guaranteed, but he's at the time in his life now where he's got another youngster. I think he just wants to go somewhere to be a number one. He deserves. Listen, it's not that he doesn't like City or anything like that. Doesn't like living in Manchester. It's nothing to do with that. He deserves first team football, and I don't think anybody could begrudge him that. But that'll leave a space for FIFA's favourite, Scott Carson. He keeps signing up.
Again, watching that documentary, what an important part of the dressing room Scott Carson is.
Give me 100 grand. Give me 100 plus grand a week, and I'll entertain them and keep the morale up.
No, but you need players like that in the dressing room, and even in training and things. I think we tend to overlook things like that. It's the same as when Richard Wright was there. And I know he's still there because he's one of the goalkeeping coaches. But that bit more, that bit older, that bit more experience, and So
I was being facetious about.
I know you were. You were just being the total knobhead you normally are.
So 2 comments here. Nick says when Eddie's fit, he plays. FIFA says Nick has to earn it back. I'm inclined to agree with FIFA there.
Here's something for you. 1-on-1 with a keeper. I take Ortega all day long over Ederson.
And again, it just shows you how lucky we are to have two top keepers. Although I thought he could have done better for the Villa goal. But listen, goalkeepers are not going to save everything. But yeah, I'm inclined to agree with FIFA there when he says, I think Ederson's got to earn it back a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think I think Ederson is fully fit now because I know he has been in training and stuff like that. So maybe Pep's in the same mindset where he's got to earn it back. No.
Yeah. So, but it's the squad mentality, and they all have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you dip in form in training, you're not playing. And that's common knowledge.
Okay, then. Okay, and bang on cue there, Paddy. So if Rodri is not performing his best in training, Pep don't start him.
Right, this is where I'm going to backtrack.
That's a shocker.
I think Rodri was 65.
Perfect timing for Midfield.
Woo! Backtrack. I think Rodri at 65-70% is better than any Premiership player at the minute.
Look, you want Rodri in your team, partly because he's got, I think, is it 64, 65 games unbeaten when he started?
This Paddy
for that reason alone, Rodri starts in the games coming up.
Yeah. Rodri at 60-70% is better than most players.
But if they're not performing in training, they don't start. Boom!
What we got right under that. There's untouchables. Actually, we should kind of clarify. There's untouchables, and the rest of them are up for grabs. With Rodri's untouchable.
And Big Morg says Anne-Marie hits all the right buttons. I don't want to see that documentary either, mate.
Don't deserve this, do I?
DC Anne-Marie proving herself the queen we know her to be. What is this a total? How many snide accounts have you got, Anne-Marie? Where you
I don't have any snide accounts.
Is that why you like?
Half our family texting in.
Is that why you was late on tonight? Because you was trying to get your login details, your passwords and
stuff. I don't look. There's my hands. I do not have any dodgy other logins or anything like that. I can't help it if people like what I've got to say and what I'm doing.
Say about smiling then.
I have got no
without smiling.
Hang on. I have got no dodgy logins. That's my face, Andy. I can't help my face. Andy, I have no other dodgy accounts.
I know you don't.
Thank you.
Michael says, 43 years supporting this wonderful club next week. Paul Power, thanks for that brilliant free kick back in 1981. I still bloody hate Spurs. I wasn't even born in 81.
You liar.
I wasn't.
Fuck, you but your 40th birthday.
I wasn't born in 81. I was born
1981.
I was born in 71. I wasn't born in 81.
Right, I wasn't born in 81 then, dickhead.
No, you was born in 1951.
No, 74 actually.
Yeah, all right. FIFA says, swear most of the Madrid players are one card of suspension, so Jack is a must. You know something? That's a great point, that, to be fair, FIFA. If that is true, yeah, that would benefit us in the second leg, wouldn't it? Bree says, good evening, Bree. Grealish plays with so many real players facing out of the return leg if he picks up yellows, yeah. So he does see.
Talking about yellows, going back to my backtracking man, my Mr. Untouchable, the Rodri, he can get yellow carded now without facing suspension.
Do you mean him? Do you mean him who, if he wasn't performing in training, you won't play?
Yeah, him. Yeah.
That was just a joy. It really was.
That was desperate.
He says Foden didn't play yesterday as being safe for Madrid. He's a certainty. Absolutely, Keith. So would you guys go more?
And I think that's why Bernardo only came on at the very end of the game. He's been saved for Tuesday as well.
Would you pack it more with midfielders?
Yeah.
I think we listen. Rodgers can't play on his own in midfield, regardless whether he performs in training or not. We've got to put somebody in there with him, haven't we?
Well, that's why we'll play Kovacic.
Yeah.
MCFC Sam, good evening, pal. Do you think we start Haaland or Alvarez and go back to our false nine? I think the beauty is there, Sam. We can do either. Like against Villa, I was crying out for that to happen, to be fair, because I thought it wasn't working for Haaland. And was it Arsenal? Sorry,
Arsenal.
Arsenal, Arsenal, because he got rested, not dropped for Villa. I thought we should have done that then, because it was crying out for something different against Arsenal. So that's it. We've got the best of both worlds, haven't we?
And that just to mention our esteemed colleague Stan always makes that point. There's 2 or 3 players always marking Haaland, and that's why Rico Lewis had the space to score that goal.
Yeah.
Stan always says that Haaland occupies 2 or 3 players.
Yeah, Steve's got a good point there, to be fair. Issue is Foden and Kev play not so good together as apart, it seems. I get that, but normally when Kev's in the team, Phil's either out wide or left. I'd love to see them both in the middle, if you like. I think they contribute each other massively there. Yeah,
they do. They complement each other very well. Of course, they belong in the same team.
Because we don't really see Kev or Phil playing together in that central role, do we?
But it's not having a go at that man there, but it's not a very kind of old style belief where years ago you said, "Oh, 2 players couldn't play in the same team together." Like as I said before, like the players we have, the intelligence they have, 15 of them can play together.
I agree. Listen, good. Like I said earlier, good players can play together. You know, it's the manager and the tactics. you telling me that KDB and Phil couldn't play together?
No, not a hope. And even with the manager and tactics, that only goes so long. You have to take responsibility for yourself when you cross that white line. Like when you see something that's going to happen, you can't turn around and say to yourself, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything because the manager doesn't want me doing this or the manager doesn't want me doing that." You have to use your God-given intelligence, and we do that quite a lot. Like Foden could be in the left-hand side of that pitch, right-hand side, the middle, or he's back defending.
There's one, Anne-Marie. Do you want to read that one out?
Yeah, Foden and Bernardo on the bench against Palace. Does that mean they will both start against Real Madrid with Kevin off the bench? Possibly.
I think that may be on the bench.
Yeah, coming off the bench.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I think there's a possibility that could be the case. Because we've seen when Kev comes on as a sub, the difference he can make to Newcastle. So I don't see... I'll be honest, I don't see it being an issue if Kev does start on the bench, because it means that Foden will be starting in the middle.
But if you start with your best, you can get 1, 2, 3 goals up, can't you? Rather than somebody coming off the bench and making a difference. Let's start on our front foot rather than assume that we'll be bringing a De Bruyne off the bench to try and make a difference. I'd start all 3 personally.
I'd be inclined to start all 3, but it is an option because you don't forget we've gone through over 5 months of the season without Kevin being available.
True story, that section. No, I just think, like I said earlier, we've got to fill that midfield up because that's where the battles are going to be done. Because Vinicius Junior, let's not forget they've got well, he's not 18 anymore, is he? Bellingham. So listen, we can't underestimate. Listen, we can't underestimate anybody. We've got to give them a bit of respect, and I'm sure Pep will do a job. It won't surprise me if he plays Nunes for the tracking back.
No.
Why?
No, because Nunes is not at that standard to be playing against Real Madrid yet. And Bellingham, as you have him, he hasn't met Mr. Rodri.
You call him Bellingham.
He hasn't met Mr. Rodri yet. Mr. Wright can ring Mr. Bellingham and ask him how he got against Rodgers.
I don't know. I just think midfield will be exactly where it's won and lost, because let's not forget if we win the midfield battle, it's also going to protect the back 4 or back 3, whatever Pep decides to play. So it's important we have trackers back.
There's your midfield. There's your midfield 5. So Andy, Matteo, Rodri, Silva, De Bruyne, and Foden, and the big man up front. Job done.
God, Anne-Marie for president. Oh, I'm gone.
Oh, no, Alec. You have to have a dig every week, Alec, don't you? And that's just below the belt.
Yeah, here's one. I know, well, you can say it's City related, really. I don't think that was a penalty today for Liverpool.
Yes, it was. Give over.
You need to go to Specsavers, Patrick.
No, he put his drag. The oldest trick in the book.
It did not touch him. It did not touch him. In fact, even yesterday, Saka's penalty, they got the ball first.
The trailing leg, it's an old striker's trick. Put the trailing leg in and make sure you're brought down. And that's exactly what he did. Anne-Marie,
bring some sense to this debate.
Well, I have to be honest and say I can't comment on today's because I didn't see it. But only going off what my dad said, who did watch the game, it was a penalty. And it was a stupid penalty to give away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Sir Alan. You know you're always welcome on this show, sir.
Oh, for God's sake.
What? Oh, a comment what's not surrounded by Anne-Marie.
Penny put the other two.
He just clocked that. I'll put it back on if you want.
Anne-Marie, you have admin privileges there. Ban him.
Oh, no, I can't.
Send Sir Alan back to Sydney.
No. Sir Alan is always welcome on our stream. And I'm sure the guys in the chat will agree with that.
I'm guessing he's been up all night drinking, though.
You can't say that to one of our guests.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, hang on. Let me get all the Anne-Marie comments up. Have they been drinking as well?
No, because they're in our time zone.
You're not in our time zone, love.
Oh, fuck, that doesn't mean anything. He doesn't know what time zone. He's in half the time.
Me?
No, you fella behind you.
That's the fella behind me. He's not performing very well. Should we drop him?
You can't leave him alone.
So yeah, that's what I just think midfield is key. And I'd hate to think KDB is going to be rested.
He won't. Not a hope.
Steve says, not saying they can't play together, Paddy, but stats show Foden has played loads better when KDB has not played. They can adjust for sure. Yeah, I agree with that, Steve. I really do. It's statistically, that is it. But I'm pretty sure when I say that they've not really played together in the centre.
So would you go Foden, Silva and Grealish, Matteo and Rodri in the midfield?
Hang on, I need to write that one down to digest it. Hang on. Would I go with what?
Matteo, Rodri, Foden, Silva and Jack Grealish in the midfield.
Would I go with Kovacic, Rodri, Foden and Jack?
And Bernardo.
Where does KDB come in there?
It doesn't.
But just saying what Steve says, that Foden and KDB can't really play together. KDB be on the bench.
Wow, I couldn't imagine KDB not starting against Madrid.
That's why I think the two of them are going to start, but...
Alex says, I prefer Foden without KDB, but maybe Pepe's thinking some tactic to make them better together. I agree with that, Alec, and I think he sort of like hinted on that pre-match yesterday when he was asked that question. That would I think that would really throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Sir, the real king of the Mancunian way, Sir Alan says, I am not Alan. I made this account to have fun. Again, Martin.
Well, he's definitely drinking.
I'm confused now. Well, you're not welcome on the show, Martin. Alan is.
But in all seriousness, Andy, we're sitting here and the guys in the chat and we're having a discussion about Foden and De Bruyne playing together. Like, if Pep can't get them two playing together and he sees them 7 days a week training, there's something badly wrong. Like, I think whatever decision Pep goes away tomorrow night or on Tuesday night, it'll be probably he'll have any chance he'll have overthought it rather than just like I see he knew that team 2-3 weeks ago. I know Walker probably and Aki's injuries didn't help him, but Pep was constantly thinking about what's coming ahead. All this crack about one game at a time, don't buy into that.
I do, you know.
No.
Did you know what Rice said about when he asked John Stones?
I thought that was the biggest pack of lies that ever come out of John Stones' mouth, and that Egypt, Declan Rice drank it in.
Why don't you just say what's on your mind, Paddy?
But seriously, like you turn around and say to somebody, "Oh, well, a big game next. Who have we got? Well, we're playing you." Like seriously, And that muppet went on TV and actually repeated it. You don't think John Stones knew he was playing Arsenal next?
I don't know.
No.
I'm just, you carry on. I'm just writing my team for Real Madrid.
Well, what do you think, Anne-Marie? Do you think that John Stones was taking the pee out of Declan Rice when he said that?
Of course I do.
And then Declan Rice goes on national TV and repeats it. And made himself out to be a...
That shows you, no disrespect to Rice, but it just shows you how thick some of these players are.
But like, they come on and say it like he believed it. You know, it's just, I don't know. Like, I guarantee Sky or whatever BT had a good laugh at that. Did he actually come on and actually repeated that John Stones didn't know he's playing Arsenal next and possibly a title decider? What a moron, Nick.
I think I've got my team for Real Madrid.
Right, yeah, well, you concentrate on that. You know, why do it now? You know, why do it when you're prepping for the show? Do it while you're in the middle of the show. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Who put 50p in the dickhead?
Oh, God, really?
Just one man. Good evening, pal. Stone's absolutely boiled rice with that comment.
Are you going to tell us who you picked now after your big announcement?
No, I'll do it on Wednesday. and I'll see if my lineup was the same as Pep's.
Now give us your lineup now, because as yesterday you put on the group that you were only one out, yet nobody saw you predicted 11.
And what was it, only one out?
But how do we know? Because we don't know who you predicted would play, you tit.
Fucking hell. So
it's like me saying I predicted that Foden would score a hat-trick against Villa and we'd win 4-1. Didn't write it down anywhere, didn't tell anybody it, but I just predicted it.
Who's put a pound in the dickhead now? God almighty. So this is who I would personally go for.
Right.
Ortega.
Even if Ederson's fit.
Yeah.
Right.
If Gvardiol's fit, no, I'm gonna go on the premise that Gvardiol's not gonna be fit. So I'd have Akanji over there. I've got faith in Akanji on the left. Especially after yesterday. Diaz, Stones, and it'd have to be Rico because it don't look like Walker will make it. I'm going to gamble on leaving Kovacic out.
No,
it's mine, not yours.
That's why you shut up. Go on.
Rodri, Bernardo, Jack, KDB, and Haaland.
Is Aki definitely going to miss that match?
I would say so, mate, yeah. Otherwise, I'd have put Aki in, wouldn't I?
Yeah, but like he could have be coming back from injury. Like,
would you disagree with any of them, or would the guys in the chat disagree with any of my lineup there?
I wouldn't be playing Rico, no.
Might not have an option.
Why not?
On the right, because if Gvardiol doesn't make it, Aki's not going to make it, Walker don't make it, straight away you've got three pretty much starters there. What are not going to be starting?
What about if he went 3 centre backs?
I agree with Jack. I would take a draw. I'd take a draw at the Bernabeu, yeah. Why would you go 3 centre backs?
Be 3 wing backs then.
Isn't that overcomplicating it?
Yeah, but who would you wing backs be? Paddy, who would your wing backs be?
I would probably go. The 3 at the back would be Akanji, Diaz, and Stones, and this is on the premise that Gaviscon is injured, and then I'd probably have Oscar Bob and maybe Nunes would fill that role then.
Proper real Lily Savage, more like.
Paddy, I think you're talking out your backside a little bit there.
She's on to Paddy now.
I always do that. That's not
Come on, Marie. Come on, Marie.
Well, I don't think we can. I don't think we. He's watching us. I don't think we can play 3 centre backs and wing backs because I don't think we've got anyone to cover that left hand side as a wing back. Because we know, and that's for me why you have to. It's going to be a standard back 4 with Rico probably going into midfield a lot of the time.
I use that saying.
Rico is going to be up against Vinicius Jr.
But he's going to have help, isn't he? He's not going to be on his own facing him.
Number one, if Rico goes into midfield and they transition, Vinicius Jr. will be in our box before.
Listen, what's all this transition bollocks? Is it new to the game or something? Everyone says transition now and all this kind of crap.
Well, counter attack, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you call it. But
you're trying to get down with the kids, aren't you? I agree with Pardo. I agree with Pardo there. If we defend like we did against Palace, we'll get a tanking, and the home leg may possibly be a dead rubber. We have got to defend better, so that's why it's important. The midfield is solid, and also the defense is solid.
Do you know? And I think that we still have that mindset. Oh, we have to be mindful of them, or we have to be scared of them. We're not that team anymore. I think they have to fear us more than we have to fear them. Because we have, even from that's what I got from watching that documentary. We have to start believing in this team. We are not typical City.
No,
we're not that team anymore. They're born winners. Their mentality is out of this world. And us as fans, yes, we're dinosaurs compared to the young ones.
You speak for yourself.
We have to start believing in this team.
We're
100% damage against
100% right, Paddy. But we also have to be realistic and take off the old blue tinted glasses sometimes, because at this moment in time, defensively, we are very weak, I would say, and we need to be sensible going there. I believe we can win there. But I also I believe we're going to have to work really hard to keep them out.
All the more reason they start Matteo and Rodri so they can protect the back 4.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think we have to start those 2 in midfield. And that means somebody's going to miss out. But whoever misses out can always make a difference and come on when they come on as a sub. That's what I honestly believe, but I think we need to solidify the back 4, and if that means playing just a regular, straightforward back 4 with nobody going into the midfield, then that has to be for the best.
Yeah, I tell you what. Did anyone think they when it went to 2-2, they was going to get a last-minute one?
I thought they were going to get a penalty.
We're all turnips. Nick says Akanji has to play right back. Vinny will love playing Rico. Rico at left back if Gvardiol not fit. But I'm going on the premise there, Nick, that Gvardiol's not going to make it.
Yeah, but we don't know the reality of it, do we, Andy?
No, we can only go off what's in front of us. Like somebody put, we start with the defence. What we ended with against Palace.
But do you not think that Gaviscon was taken off at half-time because he was yellow carded?
Possibly. I didn't think he looked injured, but Rico, when he was interviewed walking post-match, said that he was injured, and Pep said post-match that he was injured.
Yeah, but there's different levels of injury, isn't there? We know that.
You just called Walker stupid a minute ago.
I did call Walker
for
stupid.
coming back on the bench.
Yeah, after going off injured. Yeah, he was stupid. But what I'm saying is, if he was taken off at half time because of an injury, it could have been, as they said, just a niggle. It might not be a bad injury. It might not be a major injury. So it might just be a niggle that they weren't taking any chances on. Now, I don't personally believe that for a minute. But, that's not... What do I know?
But how do you know Kyle didn't think it was a serious injury?
Because I think as soon as he went down, he knew it wasn't a good thing. That's what I think.
Welcome to the backtracking club.
See, I don't backtrack. I just say it is, and not like you two backtrackers. Jack says transition. That wasn't legal when the world was. Yeah, you're right there, mate. The world's bonkers. Are you confident for Tuesday?
I don't feel them. Maybe I should, but I don't.
No, we've got to respect them, Paddy.
Well, there's a difference in respect and fear. It's
be positive like that. Adam says we are going to win Tuesday night 2-0. See, be assertive, be positive. I want a prediction from you, Paddy, before we go.
I think we'll 1-2-1.
Anne-Marie?
1-1 draw.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. We'll soon find out Tuesday, won't we?
Certainly will.
Anybody else get anything?
I'll tell you who won't find out Tuesday night. United, because they'll be sat at home watching the TV.
Hey, leave them alone today. Just one man says, can't slag transition off. That's transphobia. True that, mate. True that. Anything else before we go?
Don't think so.
Or getting some Orange Blue says he'd go with Ortega, Luis Diaz, Akanji, Gvardiol, Bernardo, Kovacic, KDB, Rodri, Grealish and Haaland. So there's no Foden there. I think Foden.
Or Stones.
Or Stones. Hey, listen. If that's what...
Yeah, everyone's opinion's valid.
Pardo reckons 1-1.
Bit like yourself, Pardo.
Mm-hmm. Jack says, I don't feel confident, but that's because the brilliance of our opponents. I'll be very happy with 1-1 draw. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about we've got to respect them, mate. Yeah, did you see that today? Big Sam in the director's box at the Swamp.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we could get really lucky.
No, we couldn't. It's got to be Southgate. Sam would do a better job than Southgate. It's got to be Southgate.
There's no way Ten Hag will be there next season.
Nope. There's more chance of you talking sense. Formidable says we'll nick it 1-0. Alex says 2-2. Blue Art, I'm confident that we can go to Madrid and do exactly what we did in the away leg last season. Yeah, I think we'd all be more than happy with that. Stevie's going 2-2. Adam's just getting drunk. Thank you, DC. Always appreciate it. Section's going for a 2-1 win.
Thanks, Alec.
Warnock for Rags. City Till I Die says, I'm 99% sure Pep will go for control and bench Haaland and start Alvarez or Foden as false 9. I wouldn't rule that out either,
Look, we all know that you can't predict what Pep's thinking, so anything is possible.
Yeah.
It's like Pep roulette, innit?
Yeah.
FIFA says, win 4-0 at Madrid.
I like his optimism.
Iptra says 2-1. Nick says 3-1. See, everyone's confident. I like confidence.
Because Andy, as I said before, we have a fantastic team. Yes, we have to respect our opponents, but 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, well, like drawing Real Madrid the Champions League was like drawing the group team of death.
Yep.
I can guarantee you, when they seen our name coming out against theirs, they felt like how we felt 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah, totally, mate. Totally.
It's just that reminder, isn't it? We are the reigning champions of Europe.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, we are the holders, and they have to beat us.
We are the reigning champions of everything apart from the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse Cup, though, isn't it, Paddy?
Mickey Mouse Cup. Who wants that?
I'm sure we'd take that in the future. Just a Mickey Mouse Cup.
Of course we would.
We got fed up winning that.
Never get fed up of winning a trophy, mate.
There was no room for it in the cabinet, so we had to get somebody else won it this year or last year.
So in a couple of weeks' time, it's the semi-final, isn't it? The 20th weekend of 19th, 20th. Well, I'll be on my way back from the smoke on the Sunday.
From having a smoke?
Well, I will be having a smoke.
You were thrown out of Old Trafford for that.
I was almost thrown out of Old Trafford for it.
Until you put 5 on.
Can you just reiterate what kind of smoking, Anne-Marie?
Tobacco.
Not drugs.
No, not drugs.
Not big and not clever kids.
No.
Well, we'll park it there tonight. Thank you for joining us anyway. It's been...
Thank you, everybody.
It's been a right slagging match tonight.
I know. Keep forgetting she's got access. No. Yeah.
Imagine what it would have been like if we had lost 2 matches this week.
Yeah, so this time next week, we will know exactly where we stand with regards to how we're going to be in the Champions League. And also we've got Luton at home, 3:00 next Saturday.
We'll be the first game of the season.
Yeah. Listen, all we can do is just keep winning, can't we?
Absolutely.
And I'm sure if
concentrate on what we've got to do. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing.
Absolutely. So thank you to everybody in the chat. As always, love your contribution. Really, really do.
Couldn't do it without you.
Exactly.
Paddy, thank you as always, my friend. Anne-Marie,
Mr. Savage,
you need to sort yourself out. You've been like a Rottweiler on a something today.
No.
I think she's withdrawn, is she?
Yeah, we will pass everyone's wishes on to Stan as well as always. Hopefully, he'll be back with us very, very soon. Thank you, guys, and we will do it again next. When will we do it, Anne-Marie?
Next Sunday at 7:00.
Boop. Over and out.